We are live, and Beena is here, and the timing worked out exactly perfectly. Beena came right at the moment where I started the recording, and Grain connected, and everything connected. So,
Hello.
yeah, all perfect, all perfect.
Hello, Syl. Can you hear me?
Yes, I do. I hear. Can you hear me?
Yes. Now it's clear. Hello, everyone. Hello, Syl. Hello, Grain. Hello, Norma. Hopefully, you'll be there.
Yeah.
And
Hold on.
whoever
Let me just make a note to Norma. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to
okay.
say that live. Yeah.
Okay. So whoever is going to watch us recorded or live, welcome. And we are excited that you are here. What we are going to do today. Yesterday we had such an amazing session, live session with Syl, because he shared a lot of not only about the story, but also that there was so much moreness there, like always, as usual, and that was fun for me. So many things to ponder on, so many things to realize, and so many things to be appreciative of. That that how much we can get out of just normal, very mundane things and aspects in life. And that was really amazing for me. That was really amazing for me. Sorry, we have just dropped
No
in
problem.
guest. So okay.
No problem. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Yes.
Where's Norma?
Yes. Today's thought. I was doing some shopping, and yes, and my shopping was okay. This experience is new for me because I'm going out for out of town for like 15 days. So I went to the same city. I'm going again, but it was when I was child. So I have very limited memories, very painted memories of that time. And this time I'm going by train, which is going to be a fun thing for me.
So exciting. So exciting.
Yes, and the whole family is going, and then we are going. We are planning to go, of course, more than just one city. So maybe 3 or 4 cities we are going to visit. And the weather is super cold for Pakistanis, and especially for Karachiites. It's super cold there. Like they are saying that they have to break the ice when they open tap, and it's a lot of things they are sharing. Other people who are living there. But I was doing shopping. Coming back to the thought, I was doing shopping for the first time. I was doing things like, okay, how to travel and how to go completely out of your house and home and for 15 days. So what to carry, what you need for that. A lot of things, very, very tiny little things, but what to do.
When it's new, it's always different, right?
Yes, it is new. And of course, because in Karachi, it's even in the extreme winter, you can say it's just a light summer for you guys. This is how the Karachi is. But going out in just like, okay, some in some places where we are planning to go will be minus. Okay, well, not -10 or something, but yes, maybe sometimes
Sub-zero. It will be sub-zero, which is cold.
Yes.
Anywhere you go in the world, sub-zero is cold. Yeah.
Yes.
Because things can freeze at zero.
Yes. And I was just thinking about that how this thing just happened, because it was completely out of nowhere. That materialization is completely nowhere. Like, okay, yes, everybody say that. If you will ask anyone, if you want to travel, of course, everybody wants to travel. But what do they really, really want now? This is a completely different thing.
Right.
So
right. Somebody out of the blue gifted this travel, right?
Yes, yes.
It's magical.
This is what I was. Yes, not only that it's a gift, but also that it is the materialization is a super gift, because although we were not like really keen to go and like, okay, yes, we will go, that type of thing, but for the last few months, my whole family, there is a vlogger who is traveling all over the world. He's a Pakistani guy, and he is traveling to India, and he was traveling to Pakistan. He was traveling to, of course, even to Israel, which was really interesting for me, and I was watching that, and many
That's
other
brilliant.
countries. And then he was traveling, and we all were loving his vlogs. So it was like kind of a regular thing. We were watching those vlogs. I was
Brilliant.
not in the regular one, but whenever someone shared about like, oh, this is something very interesting he shared, then I watched that particular clip. But even when we were not really consciously looking forward to travel and all those things, still our subconscious was ready for that. And then suddenly, like it was like 3 4 months, this thing was going, keep going. And suddenly, out of nowhere, one of my uncle, he says that, okay, why don't you guys just go uh, and have fun for like, okay, vacations for 15 days. And we're like, yes. And he says, okay, so tickets on me. The travel expenses actually on him. We were like, what? And then everybody get excited. Of course, all the other expenses we have to, and we can take care of that. But it just happened like this, which we never thought even that, because even the intent was not very clear. But sometimes when you appreciate things, positive things in other people's life, you get the benefit of that. We
The
were
intent, the
appreciating.
focus of energy and attention and awareness,
Exactly.
brought it all
Exactly.
about.
We all were appreciating that guy that, oh, yes, he's traveling, he's okay, he's meeting nice people, and he's been impeccable because he was not just for the sake of being nice, he was saying nice things about everything. No, he was okay. Yes, it was up to the mark, it was not, and all. He was sharing the earnest feedback on things like food and other things, which was really interesting, because mostly people just appreciate everything and say, wow, wow, awesome, because they want likes and all that. He was not doing this. And maybe that is the reason that everybody trusts him, that okay, it's a good place, or this is how we can also travel. But what I was saying that, okay, when you live in that environment, you absorb a lot of energy even without being deliberate about that.
Yes.
Watching
Yes.
that. And it same goes to the negative thoughts also. When we engage in or just spend time with some negative thoughts or negative mindset people, even though we deliberately saying that, okay, this is not I want, this is something, no, I don't want, but still we absorb a lot. We have to be very scrupulous about where we are spending our time and energy with, where we are sharing our time and energy with other people, and how we are sharing. Even when you are not deliberate, even you are deliberately saying that, okay, no, I don't want that, but still we absorb a lot. So the positive company and the positive mindset and positive sharing is such a big deal. It can materialize so many things which you might never been thought of, like this right now. It was like almost impossible kind of thing. Like it was never been a thought. It can materialize. Oops.
Oh, sorry, just the audio coming for a second there. I was just getting
Yes,
so I could
okay.
see the comment.
So this is my thought today, that how important is to have a right company. Where you want to, what you want in your life, just be there. That was something one of my very dear friends said to me, that okay, whatever you want in your life, just be there. The rest is just left to the universe. Just be there, present yourself there. And now I am understanding a bit about that just by being there, just by saying that to the universe that I'm here, you give allowance to universe to give you moreness. This is what happened with me. I present every single day here. And I said, okay, yes, I'm here because it is valuable for me. And the rest is, of course, in universe hand. Universe gives like tons of moreness every single day to me. But presenting yourself, being there where you really, really want to be is critical. I think that this
Very,
is
very,
this,
very, very critical. Being where you want to be. This is not just in a physical location, but in
yes,
a psychological, emotional, spiritual space as well. Yes.
yes,
And and
yes.
and I can very much say, I was thinking about this yesterday. Say,
Wow.
well, in coming at it from a different angle. I was thinking, I don't have any needs.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. To say I don't have any needs. I don't need anything in my life. Right? And I'm not just only talking now, obviously, in material stuff. I mean, that's very easy to take care of for the most part. You've got food, you've got a place to sleep, you're warm, whatever. Right? It's not a problem. But how many people can go without people? They feel a need to connect and chat. I love Beena and I chat every day. We connect every day. Huh? But it's not
Yeah.
a need. It's
No,
a joy. It's a beautiful, magical thing, but it's not a need. Yes. I enjoy the doing the lives, but I don't ever need to do them. I enjoy listening to stories or watching TV or playing games or whatever, but it's not a need. I am happy being me. That's it. It's all I need. I don't even need that. I'm just content to be. And this is a great joy, right, Beena? So
it's
I
a
am
different.
in a good place.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you
No
like
problem.
okay, it's like duh, but now it is like clicking and connecting to everything else. we
Yeah,
have we have moved, and okay, I don't know about you, but of course I'm saying about myself, that I
yeah,
have moved out of the survival, which was like need paradigm,
yes,
to the
exactly.
want. Now it is my choice. Whatever I'm doing is my choice.
Yeah,
I want to, I don't need that, but I want to because this is something I enjoy. Because this thing brings happiness. This thing brings moreness to me. This thing I enjoy. I enjoy being with you. I enjoy being here on live. I enjoy being on other things. So this is something, it's a completely different paradigm to me, where you don't need
yes,
anything, but you just
yes,
want to. Okay, if you
yes,
want to, and
yes,
then
yes,
it is so
yes,
completely free from any kind of stress, any kind of obligations. Oh, that's why we so enjoy everything, whatever we do. Wow.
yes, yes,
Wow,
yes.
Syl. Wow, wow, wow. Yes.
It's super powerful to understand this, right? And
Mm.
to connect it to just like my kind of thoughts of the day or what's happening and pertinent
Yes.
and relevant. So just
Yes.
before the Zoom, I mean, literally, like in the time leading up to, I stopped and then I came on to the open. A participant of Way of Impeccability, I was on Zoom with them. But what made it different today was that their niece came and joined. And the niece was like, "But what do you talk to Syl about? What do you guys talk about? What are you going on about?" Because she's seen the change in her aunt, right? In a very
Mm.
profound and deep way. Yes, in a
Mm.
massively shift, big shift, right? Not just in their own being, but in their life circumstance and everything, right? And this was really a big deal, right? So the niece came on, wanted to know what we're about. So, I started and went back to the basics of Way of Impeccability, which was
Mm.
clarity of intent, or is clarity of intent. And when we have
Mm.
this clarity of intent and we know what we want, and we say, I want to be more, yes? And we work
Yes.
on being what to us is more, and we apply, because that's right there when we go through Way of Impeccability. Well, since I have that up, let me go there. Let me go there. And so I have that available. Let's go there, and I'll screen share in a moment, right? Uh, okay. So let me. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. There we go. Move this, and then have that. Sorry, I'm just going to move the icons here so that I can click easily, because I've got too many of them open at the same time. All right. So we are looking at, this is the start of Way of Impeccability, right? The Way of Impeccability Life Change Program, Tools for Deliberate Living. And then this is the curriculum. Skip over that. Here we go. This is the start of everything. Clarity of intent and focus of purpose. Yeah. So, she wanted to know what we're talking about. And why it makes a difference? It makes a difference because we develop and get clarity of intent, right? And then we go through this, and I went through this next part with them, right? Which of these resonate or apply to you? Say yes out loud. You are a good person. Yes. You have integrity. Yes. You care about others. Yes. You have generosity, kindness, compassion. Yes. You are typically sensible. The participant said yes. The niece was like, because she's young, I said, well, you don't try to be foolish. You try to be sensible, right? Okay. Might not succeed, but okay. So you can say yes. You think patience, impeccability, sobriety, diligence, awareness, appropriateness, etc. are good qualities. Yes. You like having meaning, purpose, significance. Yes. Affection, love, goodness are important to you. Yes. You cannot be deliberately bad. Yes. Some people struggle with this. You cannot be deliberately inappropriate. Yes. The last one. You want more in life. Does this apply to you, Beena? You want more in
Yes.
life?
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
me too.
Absolutely.
When you
Absolutely.
understand this, now we come to the next point here, right? Now, likely you said yes to all of these, and that makes you a good person without question. Now, I'm putting this in the context of Beena's comments and mine about getting to this point where we don't have needs. Yes. Why?
Yes.
Because we've made peace with the fact that we are good people. We accept it without question. That's it. Because we know it to be true. It's not an ego thing. It's just a simple point of obvious sensibility. When you answered yes, you've proven to yourself you're a good person. It's like duh. Okay? It's just a duh. Now we are
Yes.
going to connect that goodness to what is meaningful, provides you with purpose, and what is significant and important to you. When you feel that your life is meaningful, do you feel your life is meaningful, Beena?
Absolutely.
Do you have a
Absolutely.
purpose in your life?
Absolutely. With
and and
utmost
and and
clarity.
and,
Yes.
and things are significant to you, right? On a daily basis, you have
Absolutely.
significance in your life. Absolutely, every day, right? Now you can say, right, just as a little aside there, that's what we're going to do. But then, just a little point: say out loud, right now, like you mean it. I am a good person. So the
I
participant
am a
struggles
good
with this.
person.
Yeah, I know, Beena, you can say this easily, right?
Yes.
But what was really interesting, the participant, she struggled. She said, I am a good person. I said, no, come on. And she's a teacher, right? As well. She teaches science. Uh, So, so I said, no, come on. I was like a school teacher a little bit. Do better than that. I am a good person. It took a couple of tries for her to really say it sincerely, right? Because there's a deep inhibition to saying this. And so she was a bit uncomfortable, but I kept pressing. And she said it. When it came to the niece's turn, first time, she said it with
Yes.
meaning. So the participants struggle, right? It really helped the niece, right? So this is,
Yes.
hey, Amy's joining us. Amy's
No,
joining us.
I'm joining from
Oh,
her
oh,
laptop.
oh, oh, oh,
Yes.
oh, I see. Okay. Oh, that would be wonderful. Any day, tell Amy any day she's very welcome to come and join us. I would love it if she comes and joins us, right? It would be
Oh,
fantastic.
yes.
All right, so I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere with this point of getting to be where we don't need. So now we'll be looking at way of impeccability with awareness, discernment, and understanding. ADU for the purposes of application. Because without application, it's all meaningless. So now, when you are clear about what you want, and in this case, let's just make it very simple. You want more. You want more in life. You want to be more. When we're clear about that and we make an effort to apply that, it's very easy to actually start to be a bit more than you were. Right? And more is just an addition, it's just relative. And there's always more. So it's an ongoing forever process. But once we on that path and we say, wow, I really am more than what I was. Now we start to say, wow, I'm on a path that gives me more. What else do I need? See how quick it comes, Beena. What else do I need once I have clearly seen that I'm on a path of moreness? Of course, there's a lot more that I need to learn, but I'm satisfied that I have accomplished more relative to what I was. I just need that one proof of moreness. And once I'm on that path of moreness, I don't need anything else because it is satisfying, it's sustaining, it's meaningful, it's purposeful, it's significant, right? Simply this
Yes.
pursuit of being more and having more in your life. And that's just simply working on yourself. It's very simple, right? And it's a joy. It's not stressful. It's not difficult. Yeah? It's just easy. Did you drop, Beena? Oh, you muted. You muted. All right. Oh, you dropped on the other thing and you're on Amy's computer now. I got you. I got you. All right. Wonderful.
Because
Wonderful.
on that, I could not see well.
Yeah.
What you
I see.
speak.
I see. I got you. I got you. Well, I can't see you, but all right. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So I just wanted to make this point, right? That
Yes.
it's and this was the point for the niece, right? And yes,
Mm.
she's got stuff that she wants to deal with, and she's struggling with right now. But I just made this clear. Have a clear intent what you want to deal with, and if your intent is to be more, all you really need is the self-honesty to deal with the awful truth. Once you overcome that hurdle, life is easy. And the participant, she was in a very difficult situation, and she faced the awful truth and got out of it. And it was a big deal. It's a huge deal to get out of that. She's writing a book about it. Yeah, it's very powerful. But it started with that self-honesty to face and deal with the awful truth. And when you do that, you turn them into awesome truths. And this sets you on that path, right? And once you overcome one awful truth, I've got more now. Right? That's it. It's a big issue, an awful truth. When you face it and deal with it, it's no longer a problem in your life, and you can move on, right? Or at least you know how to deal with it, and it changes everything, right? And then you start to have this moreness, and when we have moreness in our lives, we are content, we are replete, we are complete. Yes, even though we know there's much more to come, but the fact that we've got ongoing moreness, what more do I need? Yeah, changes everything.
Yes.
Changes everything. Really, really, really powerful. All right, now this point two that we were on, this last point of this way of impeccability, right? And how it applies. Without application, it's all meaningless. Now we're going to continue reading the story, and let's see how this applies to this particular part of the story. Yeah? It's super powerful. It's super powerful. I don't know why I didn't want to share it to the page, but odd. Let's try again. Sometimes things just don't work. And look, see, it just gets stuck here. But all right, well, too bad. We'll just leave you there. And I want to see where the comments are. Where is that now? Oh, it's here. There we go. All right. I just want to see. Oh, there's Norma. There's Norma. I was waiting for Norma. That's what I came to look for. Yeah. Hello, Norma. Hello. Wonderful, Norma. I'm so thrilled you're here, Norma. I'm so thrilled you're here. All right. And let's go back to my story here and where we were yesterday. Right. So now we have a specific intent, right? We've got some clear intent here. We're going to continue reading the story, but we're going to read it with this a focus of looking at application and understanding the absolute critical necessity of application. Yes. Ursula pulled free from her thoughts, returning to Heila. Ursula had her little aside that she was thinking about stuff, right? Anyway, says Heila, I just wanted to respond to your comment. You seem like a very interesting person, which is not something I come across every day, especially someone who enjoys conversations about spiritual and philosophical topics. Beena, comment?
Yes.
What is our center column? What is our focus?
Intent, materialization, of course.
Yeah, application right now, right? Our intent is to read the story with the connection to application. Yes?
Yes.
Right. How does application apply to this sentence right here? By implication.
Because they are doing what they really want to do, and then this is how everything is done.
I think you're missing me a bit here. All right. Okay. This is Heila saying this about Biella. You seem like a very interesting person, which is not something I come across today, especially someone who enjoys conversations about spiritual and philosophical topics. That is true about Biella, but it's not the whole truth, correct?
Exactly.
What is Heila missing? What is Heila missing?
Application, like someone who actually do that. It's
Precisely. Exactly. For Heila, that's as far as her awareness and perception goes. She's connecting to Biella because Biella enjoys, or seems like somebody who enjoys conversations about spiritual and philosophical topics. That's you. You're missing it, Heila. You missing the magic and the potency of Biella. Yeah, she enjoys it, but that's not enough. She applies it. That's what makes the difference. And for Heila, this idea, this thought of application is not there, right? She doesn't say you are somebody who actually applies the stuff and works on it and does it. And this to me is really interesting. No, just somebody who enjoys the conversations. See the big potency here, right? And you see the gap in Heila and why all of this means nothing and doesn't make a difference in Heila's life. Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Right.
Yes.
She says, you seem like someone who enjoys conversations about spiritual and philosophical topics, about the spiritual search in general. The spiritual search. Biella's not on a spiritual search. She's not. She's long stopped searching, just as you have and I have. We are about applying. We are about applying spirituality, about applying our connection to spirituality, about doing something about it. Right? Attunement is absolutely the application of the doing of being spiritual, of connecting to spirituality. The more you apply attunement, the more you are connected to spirit. That's exactly what attunement is all about, right?
Yes.
The spiritual endeavor. It's going to come later when we read the Gift of Intent story, right? And she says, it feels like the most important thing I could be doing. Now, you would say, oh, yeah, but you were just saying she's not connected to application. Doesn't this mean she's connected to application? No, not necessarily. Because to her, the thing that she's doing is being interested and enjoying and exploring spiritual and philosophical topics, talking about it, discussing it, reading it, searching. She's not applying. So all of what she thinks is important, which is the talking about it and discussing it and enjoying it and searching, that to her is the thing that is important. But she's missing it. That means nothing because there's no application. It's meaningless. So she ends up going in circles, and she's been going in circles all of the time in her past when she was younger, and this was what she was doing, right? And she was doing the questing and the searching, but it led nowhere because in her mind, reading about spiritual stuff, talking about spiritual stuff, discussing spiritual and philosophical stuff, this is the important thing. And in her mind, she thinks when I talk about it, when I recognize the importance of something spiritual or philosophical, that's enough. It's not. Right? When people look at a meme and a wisdom quote on Facebook or the internet or whatever, wow, that's really profound, that's really wise. They think that's enough to change them. No, it's not. Yeah. I've said this many, many times. I have friends who have meme groups and meme pages, right? And they post these wisdom memes every single day, multiples. And they're the same people. They haven't really changed because they don't apply it. They just recognize it as being wonderful and brilliant and wise and awesome. But that recognition, that realization is not enough because the realizations come and they go. They dime a dozen, right? You need to apply it. You need to actually change your life, right? But I struggle, she says, with the feeling I'm just being lazy, that I should go out and live a normal life. Now, this is a should, but the should is being here because she's not really doing something. So this feeling of being lazy, it's being misapplied. What you are actually, you're not really lazy, you're just not realizing that your connection to wisdom has to go further than realization. You think this is enough, but it's not, right? So she's missing a critical awareness, right? And it's materializing as this being lazy and that you do normal stuff. Well, why is your inner sense telling you that you need to do typical normal stuff? Because there's a part of you that's recognizing that what you're doing is a waste of time. It's
Mm.
not a waste of time. It's only a waste of time because you're not taking that last step. Yes, you need the awareness, you need the discernment, you need the understanding. In other words, you need the reading, you need the connection to this material, right? But you need to apply it. Just having it's
Mm.
not enough, right? So it's that last step that makes the other steps all worthless. If you don't have the last one, it's all a waste of time, right? So this is very cool. But you see how it's materializing psychologically, right? There's in a sense, is telling her, you're wasting your time here. But she's mistaking it, right? She's making a false association because she's not aware, right? But that thought is so awful to me. I think I'd honestly rather die than live the rest of my life like most of society. This seems like such a cosmic waste somehow. Yes, it is. But she's not thinking it through to the end, right?
Yes.
You see how critical this thinking it through to the end is. And because she's not thinking it through to the end, she doesn't come to that understanding. That understanding is not enough. Without application, your understanding means nothing. She's reading the spiritual stuff. She's understanding it. She's discerning it. She's aware of it, but she's not applying it, right? Not enough. Right? This applies to all of us. Yes, Norma, it does. It absolutely does. And this is why the story is so powerful here, because it's a universal truth that is being connected to, and I'm elucidating these universal truths through the example of Heila. And remember, I was saying this is a real person dealing with a real struggle, right? But this is not an unusual struggle. Like Norma, you say, you are expressing a very powerful point here. This applies to all of us. Yes, the end would be imagination. Yes, when you think it through to the end, we open the doors for imagination because now you've done everything that you can do and you're not trying to resolve a little minor problem. You thought it through to the end. If you're still stuck, you say, well, I can't do the regular thinking anymore. I've gone to the end. Now I need imagination. I need creativity. I need input from outside of myself, which is what imagination is, right? And creativity. Isn't creativity input from outside of ourselves? Right? And we can get this via attunement, which is why Biella brings up attunement in her response. Right? We can access moreness that is outside of ourselves. Ursula felt the spontaneous hug arise within her and went, pleased with herself for having the awareness to notice Biella doing the same. Now, again, this is a little aside that is giving insight into the new nobility sophistication. Ursula is applying what she's noticed Biella do before, right? Right? She's seen Biella have this awareness to be deliberately spontaneous or spontaneously deliberate, right? Even more pleased to realize that had Biella not done so, she would have had time to stop her impulse. Now she's taking her cues from Biella because she's still learning, right? So in this sense, the reason that she's doing this is because Biella is the lead, as the new nobility would call it, in this particular engagement and interaction, right? And anybody can be the lead. It's not just, it just happens to be that it's appropriate for Biella to be the lead here. So if you have too many people leading, then you get confusion. So it's a matter of sobriety that she is deferring to Biella in this circumstance, right? Nothing about ego, status, hierarchy. No, simple practicality, right? But she's excited. It's exhilarating, that awareness, right? Ursula thrilled at the ability to be honestly spontaneous and to have a measure of control, right? We think spontaneity is to give up control. No, it's not. I can spontaneously have stuff come up in me, but then the control is to decide to express what spontaneously came up or act on it. Sometimes what spontaneously comes is inappropriate, right?
Yes.
Spontaneity doesn't mean that we have to always act on it. Spontaneity just means that we have the ability. So we have to have the stuff come up spontaneously and then choose in that fraction of a second, choose to act on it or not. This is the sophistication of the new nobility. Some people make a bit of a cult out of spontaneous. Oh, I'm being spontaneous. It's so cool. Well, you're being a spontaneous jackass. Not cool, right? Spontaneity isn't in and of itself valuable. When it's fun, when it's joy, when it's profound, when it's magical, yes. But when it's nonsense, no. We have to edit our spontaneity. Yeah, very key, very key. That's appropriateness, in other words, right? The trick was to be aware of it happening, to first allow, then to check. So in other words, you don't want to squash the spontaneity. You want to allow it to bubble up, and that imagination, right? You want it to come. And then you want to say, is it appropriate or not in the circumstance? It may be appropriate, but not right this moment, maybe just a little later, right? So you can have what comes up is the spontaneity, and the application is deliberate. That makes sense? Yeah, Beena?
Yes.
Very
Yes.
powerful, very powerful. It only took fractions of a millisecond in real time. As Data so famously said, right? A second is an eternity for the positronic brain. It really is. In the world of awareness, a second is a long time. In the realms of awareness, a long time. Biella and Ursula both hugged Heila in solidarity, who returned the hugs in the same spirit. They'd extrapolated the friendship gesture from earlier correctly. And this is very important, right? Extrapolation. We've gone into it in earlier chapters. It's a very, very big deal. It's a very powerful skill to be able to extrapolate, because we are taking the information that is at hand and we are projecting it into the future. That's what extrapolation is. When you have enough data, you can extrapolate and see what's coming and act appropriately according to that. Yes. Oh, thank you, Norma. Yes, it makes a lot of good sense. Yeah, it's very powerful. Very, very powerful stuff here. And that's what the whole book is about. Just good sense. Yeah, sobriety. Sobriety is sophisticated common sense. Yeah, common sense is very cool sometimes, but sometimes common sense is also a load of nonsense because it's not thought through to the end. It's not applied in a huge context. It's only the immediate typically, or the shorter term, right, or the intermediate. But when you're applying appropriateness in all contexts, you get sobriety, right? So sobriety is a super sensibility. It is a super common sense, right? It's an uncommon sense because it's really thought through to the end, and it's combined with perspective shifting to multiple perspectives. It's sophisticated, in other words, right? A welcome to the path they'd ventured onto. Their hugs to Heila is inclusivity, right? They're welcoming her to the path of moreness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Heila now a sister of the path, or an aspirant in spirit. And this path is learning, growing, moreness, right? The path of being on moreness. Oh, Heila, I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying your reply and how thrilled I am to know you, Biella said. I hope I get Biella's earnest, beautiful kindness, generosity, and consideration right in my expression of her voice. Yes, that's what I try to. Whenever I think Biella, I think of earnestness, kindness, generosity, largesse of spirit, and beauty of being. Yes, this is Biella. She has profound largesse of spirit, but she's also sophisticated, exceedingly so. And as such, she's profoundly considerate. Yes. And sometimes with that, it has, it may seem like she's, from our perspective here, because you're not seeing her in real time, it may seem that she's a bit calculating or cold. No, she's profoundly warm and deep. Yeah? She loves all the time, right? She doesn't stop loving, right? So when she says this, I can't tell you how much I am enjoying your reply and how thrilled I am to know you. This is absolutely sincere, right? Biella is totally thrilled to know her. It's a very profound gift and magical to Biella. Ursula nodded her agreement. No need for her to say anything. Biella, the lead in this. The lead. Oh, there it comes in. I'd forgotten that I'd actually said that here. I thought I was adding an extra point about Biella being the lead. Right? I'd forgotten that it was actually in the story. Brilliant. Gracious in the broader sense. Yes, this is something that Biella also has. Grace. She possesses grace, right? Which includes being gracious, but it's more than being gracious, right? To have grace. Right? There's a lot to grace. I don't want to go into it now. It's a long, big deal, right? And we've gone into it at other times. Her statements included Ursula, not in a presumptuous way, not at all, but in a way which communicated she was taking a liberty in assuming somewhat on Ursula's behalf. This is the liberty and of assumption that is appropriate. It's based on extrapolation. It's based on what she understands for a thing. But she still, even though that she has a 90% probability of being accurate, she still knows there's a 10% chance that she might not be. This is the sophistication and the impeccability of the new nobility, right? So she's assuming on Ursula's behalf as a matter of convenience, but she doesn't ever let that assumption become a habit which is not deliberate and therefore done in unawareness. Because yes, you're going to be right 9 times out of 10. What about the 10th time? If you are doing this on a regular basis, every 10th time you are going to be inaccurate. See? So you need to make that allowance, and you need to have the space for the person that you're assuming for to be able to say, oh, wait a second, that's not actually accurate here. Okay? And you have the space, and they can do it, no problem. Say, well, actually, in this case, it's a little different for me. Like Ursula would probably say, you know what, Biella, usually, that would be so. But in this one, I have a quirk, and that quirk makes it a little different for me, yeah, right? And something like that, right? And she would nicely and politely and diplomatically say, and it's no big deal. It's not like she was wrong, and not wrong is an issue. She would just, yeah. No, they are relating. Please make your comments. They are making your comments. Yeah. What about life and death situations? I was just elaborating, Norma, so I can't always respond right away. But in what case do you mean here? Can you elaborate on life and death situations? Were you meaning it like in terms of extrapolating about life or death situations, or in what sense? Just elaborate a bit. I want to hear. Please, Norma. That's a very important question. A very important question. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's hear more. I'll wait for you, Norma. I'll wait for you. I know there's a bit of a delay, but I really want to hear. I really want to hear what you mean here about life and situations. While we wait for Norma, type out what you do. Take your time, Norma. Take your time. I'm going to wait in the reading. I want to relate a story that applies to yesterday. A story about certainty. Yeah. And how we take certain things for granted in our certainty, but it's not so, right? And we have to be very careful about this, and it can be a problem. So I was in a conversation where I was actually doing Way-of-Impeccability on one of the Zoom sessions, and the participant, I don't remember what prompted them to say this, but it's just one of the things that people say as a standard reflex, right? And the person said, well, you just put your pants on one leg at a time like everybody else. Right? Very typical, common expression. You probably heard it. People say it all the time, right? Very common expression. So, and I said, well, actually, no. They're like, what? What do you mean? So, don't you put your pants on one leg at a time like everyone else? Like, come on, duh, everybody. I said, no, I don't. And they were completely blown. Yeah. No, you don't have onset dementia. You don't have anything of that. Please make your comments. Please, Norma. I will. I do try and connect them, and I just try and figure it out again. Like just don't give up on it. Don't give up on it, Norma. I want to hear your comments. Please don't cease your comments. And you don't have onset dementia. You're quite fine. There's nothing wrong with you. No, nothing at all. No, just a bit of shyness. That's all. No, please, Norma, please. Anyway, so I said, no, I don't put my pants on one leg at a time. And I didn't elaborate at first because I wanted this point of certainty But how can you not? Everybody puts their pants on one leg. I said, no, that's not true. And they couldn't figure out how. I said, just sit down on a bed and, take your pants and pull it over your legs, 2 legs, and then you pull it up. And wow. Oh. And it completely broke their mind for a while there, because they were so certain that this expression, which they'd heard people use all their life, was actually true. And it's not. Anybody who's had a broken leg or an injured foot or something knows that, if you can't stand on one leg, right, you can't put your leg on, right? So if you have a balance issue or whatever, you put your leg on, you sit down, and typically you do what I just did, right? You kind of throw it in front of you, and you put both your feet in and you pull it up. It's very simple, very easy, very convenient, a very efficient method of putting your pants on, right? But it's not one leg at a time. It's 2 legs at a time. This actually would be a very good bar bet. Yeah. Say, hey, you know what? I bet you I can put my pants on 2 legs at a time. Most people don't think of you sitting and doing it. They think you're going to jump into the pants, or something like this, right? And so, but when you do it that way, it's a very simple way to win the bet. Nah, you couldn't do that, okay. So, but it really was profound for this person to realize that they were saying something which they took to be a certainty. But when I explained it, it's not a certainty. It's a stupid saying to say this, right? Not everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. There's many people who don't. Like I said, anybody who's got, any kind of a leg issue, balance issue, whatever, you know. Isn't that interesting about certainty? So we have to be careful, especially when it comes to sayings, right? That are popular sayings. Those sayings are based on an aggregate, not on an actuality, right? And that when you take an aggregate to be the all, this makes you certain about things that aren't actually certain, right? You have to be very careful about this. Don't take an average and make it because it's typically so. Don't assume it's always so. Very, very fundamental awareness problem, right? Norma, if I look and I think, what could you have meant? What about life or death situations, right? And we go up a little bit here. And we talk about, let's see. Trying to think what would have sparked that. Well, application absolutely comes into it. I can only think this may have been with application and appropriateness when it comes to life or death situations. When we realize that essentially everything in our lives is a life or death situation. Yeah. Why? Because take this point of certainty. If you continue with this belief that, your certainties are certain, and that, when it's generally so or typically so, it's always so, this is going to mess up your life and make your life a bit miserable and inaccurate and complicated and problematic. So it's a life situation. And then you start to die. When you develop these bad habits and tendencies, you live less. You don't live fully. You're not living deliberately. And that's like a living death. See, so it's a life and death situation. When it comes to more life and death, living with heart, right? When we want to live and profoundly and moreness, when we start to say, hey, death is a serious issue, and I want to prepare myself for death and live in such a way that should death happen, I'm okay with it. And then everything becomes a life and death situation. To the new nobility, yeah. Yeah, please don't be sorry, Norma. Please don't be sorry. It's not a problem. Really, please don't be sorry. It's just the nature of the situation that there is a bit of a delay. Because when I'm talking now, you hear me 3 or 4 seconds later. Then you type, and so there is that bit of a delay. So please don't. It's not on you. It's not on you. Don't apologize. You're fine. But yeah, just add some context to it, right? So like in that question, what about life with this dead situations when it comes to whatever the point was that I was talking about, right? So just connect it, that's all. I want to hear, Norma. Your comments are very, very, very precious to me and to Beena also. We love them. They matter. They make a difference, right, Beena?
Yes. Yes.
It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. All right. About being included, right? Uh, always implied if she was off in her inclusion in any way, she took it for granted Ursula or any to whom she extended this exquisite courtesy would speak up as necessary. So when Biella is assuming on like Ursula's behalf, because she feels that she can and do so fairly accurately or very accurately, but not always, she's leaving that door open that the person can always speak up, right? So far, Ursula had never found it necessary, occasionally feeling she might have added something minor. However, she had come to enjoy the role of observer. To her, it held incredible value. Any additional comments she might provide would not make a material difference, but would affect her assumed stance of remaining just outside the interactions. So this is a very important point here, that we can't get too hung up on accuracy sometimes, right? Especially if you want to have this role of an observer. So yes, Biella's making assumptions on her behalf, and they might be 99% and some minor trivial thing. But so what? It doesn't matter, right? And she knows that if she goes and makes that little correction, yeah, big deal. Does it really matter? No. Does it change her role as an observer inside her own psychology? Yes, very much so, right? So as an observer, you got to be able to let things go. Yeah, it's very important. Very important. It's very powerful. It's not always appropriate to be a role of an observer because you got to, sometimes it's not. But in this situation for Ursula, it's very powerful because when we go back to Ursula saying why she's doing this and why she's coming at an aspirant from a pureness point of view, like she knows nothing, it's a deliberate stance she's taking so that her knowledge that she does know doesn't influence her unduly. Yes. So she's wanting to start from scratch so that she can develop it purely. A very sophisticated insight. You have to go back to that chapter. Yes, Beena?
Please say it again. Say it again. I just need a more emphasis on this.
Okay. So on this point of Ursula wanting to be an observer and to set aside her knowledge.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make sure on which point that you want more clarity on. All right. So Ursula is coming from a point of that she is very accomplished on her world in the sort of typical, usual, normal accomplishments in life, being successful in business and, she's written books and sports and all of the stuff, right? So she has skills. She has skills that she can use. And those skills can translate over into being an aspirant. But Ursula said, she runs the risk of trusting those skills. And yes, it's powerful to trust it, but you are trusting that your skills that you already are familiar with are going to be enough. But there's an assumption that goes with it. In trusting those skills, you are assuming those are the only skills that are applicable, right? So you become closed to being open to becoming aware of new and different skills. Yeah. See? And that's the problem. When you rely on your old way of being, and Ursula is acutely aware that, man, my mind has been blown apart so many times by what Biella said and did. This was like stuff that I never even imagined before. So I can't rely on my old ways to be fully available or enough for me to deal with this newness, right? I have to be open to this idea, this understanding, this knowing that there's going to be moreness coming at me that I never thought of before. And the only way I'm going to connect to all of that moreness and not close myself to it by trusting what I already know is to stay open like a child. In other words, to be maximally receptive. And that's why she's in the role of the observer, right? She's just observing, just taking it in. And it's like, oh, wow, right? She's not relating to it from what she knew before. She's only relating to it from a purity, openness point of view, so that she can be connected to that which is that she would never otherwise connect to. Yeah. So she's open to seeing the moreness. That's the key here, right? Because when we relate to things from the basis of what we already know, it makes us a bit closed to seeing moreness. Does that make sense, Beena?
Yes.
Norma, does that make sense? Just love you, Norma, and I love your comments, Norma. I love sharing and I love interacting with you. I want to hear your heart, your soul. I want to hear what's important to you. This matters to me, Norma, just by the way. But my point about this openness and not trusting what you knew before, look how much in our interactions, Beena, when you first started on Way-of-Impeccability, how much you had to set aside the Beena that kind of knew what was going on. Beena was giving advice to her friends and stuff. You had to set all of that aside, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Norma. Thank you. So this is very important because it's a frame of perception. And when we relate from our previous personalities and our previous ways of doing, like in this case, Ursula's success mindset, it's success within the superiority paradigm. It holds no water, as you said here in this the Nobelia paradigm, right? It just doesn't apply. But if she uses that, she runs this risk of limiting her ability to perceive that which she, up until this point in her life, is unable to imagine. She knows she's in a situation where the new nobility are doing lots of stuff that are stuff that she never imagined to do. She's already encountered this many, many, many times. So how can she possibly utilize her old self? She cannot. It's a very dangerous thing to do because she runs this risk of blocking herself off to moreness, to newness, to things that she couldn't imagine, right? So we need to stay open. And that's a skill that we have to practice, to be open, to being able to perceive that which we never imagined to be possible. Yeah. It goes with what we were saying yesterday about this absolute power of saying, I can be wrong, and being open to being wrong, to being excited about being wrong, because it's through wrongness that we come to moreness so often, but not wrongness in the moral sense of right and wrong. Just like, oh, I never thought of that, right? Wow, I never realized this. Wow, that's like so, wow, that's like so outside of what I would have ever expected or imagined. But now that you mentioned it, wow, yeah, it makes sense. But I have to be open to actually hearing it before I can actually process it. If we're not open to actually hearing that which is outside of our expectations and our beliefs and assumptions, we simply don't. We simply don't, right? You can see it with people sometimes when you're talking in a conversation. You say things like when I first said to the participant, and they said, oh, well, you just put your pants on one leg at a time like everybody else. I said, no, I don't. At first, they didn't penetrate. They didn't actually hear me. Right? I had to repeat it. It's like, my comment didn't compute. It was an impossibility. And therefore, it was just kind of nonsense. And our sensibility filter just filtered it out. I must have misheard or, whatever, right? We tend to normalize it in some way, right? To make it fit with our expectations. So she didn't hear me at first. I had to repeat, I had to insist, I had to explain, right? If I just left it there, I would have said, no, I don't, and just assumed she heard me, and I could have just carried on. Yeah? And she never would have gotten that point.
Yes.
She might have even have said something like, oh, okay, and just carried on. And that's what happens so much, right? When people just, they normalize things and they make it fit their view of the world. They have to be very, 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 very careful of this, because that's how we miss out on moreness. Like in that case, if I hadn't made that extra effort to share and communicate, because I was aware that she wasn't hearing me, right? Capital H hearing me. I was aware of it. So I did her the favor. That's what we do in Way of Impeccability, right? That was the whole point of it. The awareness, understanding. But I could have just left it and she would have never have known that, she would have just kept under that misbelief that everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. Expansion. Yes, exactly. Exactly. We need to be expansive in our psychology. And that's this whole role of observer for Ursula. And why we love Ursula so much is because Ursula has said, doesn't matter that I was super successful in the context of Biella and the new nobility, that means nothing. I want to be expansive here. I want to expand into moreness that's outside of my imagination. And for that, I need to set aside what I know and assume what I know is all. It's not. She knows there's value, but she has to treat it as if it is going to be a problem or a restriction or limitation. And so she sets it aside. And very sophisticated. Very, very, very sophisticated. Yeah.
Yes.
This is really cool. That's really, really cool stuff here. Biella adds here, I'm delighted it's off to the races without unnecessary life trivia. Part of this normalness of assumption when you get to know people, right? What do people typically do? Oh, what are your likes? What are your favorites? Seriously, your favorites could be the same as a serial killer's favorites. So what does that tell me about you? Right? I mean, you can go look up like serial killers' favorites. People have studied this, their favorite movies, their favorite foods. And at some point, you'll find a serial killer's favorites that are very close to yours. See? Doesn't tell you about the person. They're a serial killer and they have the same favorites as you or similar, right? So it's a foolish way to get to know people. And it's pointless, right? And this is what Biella means here. It's off to the races. We're talking about stuff that matters, stuff that's important to you, your character, your soul, your spirit, things that your intents, right? This is stuff that matters, not your likes and dislikes. Personality comes and goes and varies with the situation and appropriateness, but your character and what matters to you, your intents, in other words, that's what the important thing is, right? And your sophistication of understanding and having tools like this tool of application. See, this is the stuff that matters, not the life trivia. Right to the heart of it. That's where we live anyway. This too is the heart of the matter. Living in the heart, living with heart, right? But not the usual heart, a heart tempered with impeccability. Will you read that and comment on that, please, Beena? That paragraph. Let's find this whole paragraph. Oh, it's not letting me. There we go. Beena, will you read it, please?
Yes, yes. Biella, I did. I'm delighted it's off to the races without unnecessary life trivia. Right to the heart of it. That's where we live anyway. This too is the heart of the matter. Living in the heart, living with the heart. But not the usual heart. Heart tempered with impeccability. Wow. Heart tempered with impeccability.
Exactly. A heart tempered with impeccability. And this is a most exquisitely gracious way of sharing with Heila. That the problem for Heila is that Heila is talking about her heart and what matters to her. But her heart and living with her heart, it's not tempered with impeccability. Because when we are impeccable, we say, is this the best use of my energy? Just reading about wisdom is not the best use of my energy because I'm not applying it. See? It's very obvious, very duh. Impeccability says it's so crucial. It's like so duh with impeccability. Well, you have to apply it, right? Because otherwise it's just an idea. It doesn't actually make a difference. You're wasting your time, your energy. She already has told us that she feels like she's wasting her time. Yeah. So if she had understood this and knows about impeccability, Heila is losing out by default. She's losing out because she simply is not aware of a few crucial understandings. Let me repeat that. Heila has a problem in her life, a very severe problem, simply because she's not aware of a few crucial understandings, like impeccability, yes, like application. Yeah, that's it. She's missing this fundamental. Her heart is not tempered. Tempered is when you take metal and you temper it, you improve its hardness and its strength. Right? And if you temper it correctly, you get a good balance between hardness and strength. Right? If you make it too hard, it becomes brittle. If you make it too tough, it's a bit soft. It's not hard enough, right? So you have a balance. So this is tempering. It's about appropriate balance of all of your strengths, right? So in this case, Heila has the motivation and the desire, but it's not tempered with sobriety and sensibility and impeccability, which says, oh, but where's the actuality of application? How is this stuff that you're connecting to your interest in philosophy and spirituality? How is it actually making a difference in your life? See? Self-honesty. 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 Don't live by ideas. Don't live by should. Live by actuality. Application is actuality. Heila's a bit caught up in idea. I should be interested. This is how you are spiritual, by talking about it, by discussing it, by being interested. No, it's about application. The spiritual is not practical. It's not being applied. It means nothing. It's just talk. Yeah. Crucial understanding that Heila is missing. Yeah. But look how beautiful this point is that Biella is making without saying it directly to Heila. It's too early in the relationship for her to now as yet be able to say directly, oh, you know what, because it's not a mandate. She's not an aspirant. So she can only share information. She can say it directly to Ursula because Ursula has said, I'm an aspirant. And as an aspirant, you can say this type of thing to me directly. You can tell me that I'm being a knucklehead and tell me that I'm missing an obvious key point, right? With Heila, it's not there yet. Yes, the friendship could lead that way, but still a bit early. And it may be too much and back Heila off and make her super cautious and have a negative reactivity and because she's still caught up in that psychology. So Biella is being exquisitely careful here. She's giving the information, right, for Heila, and Heila can take it further, right? But she knows that there's going to come more opportunities in the first. She's laying the basis. This stuff may go in one ear and out the other ear, but she's going to repeat it. It's going to come back to it, right? It's not a problem. So, but it's just the beauty of Biella here, right? She's being very, very caring, very, very caring. Biella took Heila's hands in her own. With a quick, inclusive glance to Ursula said, a quick, inclusive glance to Ursula. Inclusivity is crucial for someone like Biella, for the new nobility. Because inclusivity is kindness, it's generosity, it's caring, it's consideration. Yeah, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal, inclusivity. I'm most excited. Your reply is a marvelous gift. Thank you. The entire thread and scope of the issue at hand is central to me and the way I live. It's connected in a larger way to what I'm currently involved in. There's magic to it, as you have already noticed. From my side, I see so much overlap and confluence, interconnectivity and potentiality. Fantastic. It's the way of things. Living with them and studying them has enabled me to see the multi-threadedness of it. Now look at again what Biella's doing here. She is letting Heila know that her comments, her discussion, her sharing of her story problems is pertinent and relevant and important and matters interesting to Biella. So that she's removing any potential reluctance for Heila to share and feeling that she might be imposing on Biella. Yeah, I'm sharing all your problems, stuff. You might not be interested in this, and but she's letting her know, I am interested. Not only am I interested, but it matters to me. Yes, it has overlap and confluence, interconnectivity and potentiality. Right? It's the way of these things, living with them and studying me, has enabled me to see the multi-threadedness. Your stuff is connected to me. It's interesting to me. I want to hear more. Right? She's giving Heila license to share. Very, very beautiful, right? Now, Heila may not consciously be aware of what Heila's doing, but the implications, we are geniuses at implications, even if we're not conscious of those. It's going to connect inside, right? Biella made the statement as a personal one, right? Because she wants to open that door for Heila to be able to share without reservation, to feel that she has license to share, to feel that not only is it appropriate to share, but Biella wants to hear her sharing, right? That's a very, very big deal, right? She's making space, in other words, for Heila, right? Even though she made the statement as a personal one, even though she was also speaking for the new nobility as a whole. Biella was taking the friendship gesture from Heila into cognizance, affirming its special meanings and implications. Affirming, right? So she's letting Heila know that I understand what the friendship gesture means, and I'm giving you a repeat back of my understanding, so that you can know that I don't, Heila may think, well, does she really understand what the friendship gesture means? Which obviously means that you can share fully about stuff that's in your heart that's important to you, right? Biella's giving her a repeat back, right? Make sense, Beena?
Yes.
From the fullness of your reply, I take it you're not averse to going deeper. Again, just a confirmation from Biella, but also sophisticated, to say that we are going to go deeper, even deeper than what you may think is deep. Yeah? So she's giving Heila an opportunity to say, well, yeah, I like going deep, but not too deep, There's some people that do say that, right? Okay, there's a limit to how deep I want to go. But since Heila doesn't say, right? So I take it, but she doesn't say, she's leaving it open, right? She doesn't make it as a statement, right? But as she's saying, I'm assuming, right? Very sophisticated here. It's a serious issue. From my perspective, I'm completely here to you. Now look at this statement. It's a serious issue. Look at Biella's sophistication here. She drops it in as a standalone sentence. What is a serious issue? All the things, right? She's leaving it open. Heila's issue that she's talking about is a serious issue. Yes. Also, it's a serious issue going deeper. It's a serious issue that this is of interest to Biella. All of those are serious issues, right?
Yes.
It's also a serious issue that from Biella's perspective, capital P perspective, I'm completely here for you. It's a very serious issue for Beena, for Biella, well, Beena too, for Biella to be there for Heila, as it is for Beena, right? When we listen to others and they come on Zoom, right?
Yes.
And when they share, like Norma, you were sharing, it's a very serious issue to us. And we are completely here for you when you have something to share. Doesn't matter who it is. I'm here for Beena when she's got something to share. Beena's there for me when I have something to share. This is the magic of our relationship and our interactions. Same with you, Norma, right? I'm always there for you when you share, and you there for me. When I have stuff to share, you listen. Whatever it is that I'm sharing, right? You listen with interest, you listen with care, you listen with attention, you listen with detail. This is Nobelia-Living, that we have this completely there for you, no matter what. In any moment, we're always there for you completely. It's a very, very, very serious issue. To be there for somebody completely, capital H hearings is what it's all about, right? But it is ridiculously serious, because this is how we express our deep goodness and our deep caring, and how we make it valuable, how we apply impeccability to it. Because we can have caring and interest, but it can be wasted if we are not completely there. Yes, we go all the way, we finish it, we take it all the way into application. We don't just talk about it and, okay, all right, I've had enough now, all right, If there's no resolution, you waste all that time, right? So to be completely there means we're going to go all the way until there's resolution. Yes? Until this person has gotten it all out, until they're satisfied. Avail yourself of my ear as much as you like. I'll share what I feel. That's all I can do. Again, Biella is laying out all of the sophistication of her and the new nobility interaction mechanisms and style and abilities and that. Yeah, yeah. My pleasure, Norma. Oh, thank you. I needed to know that. Yes, always here for you, Norma. Always. And it's our joy to be here for you. It's our joy as you are always there for me, Norma. Yeah, you're always there for me. Whatever, if I'm not feeling well or whatever, right? Whatever I'm talking about, you're always there for me. Yes, you're always there for me. And I appreciate it inordinately, Norma. Yeah, it's a very big deal. But and look at what Biella is now articulating here, right? And this is what my friendships and interactions are based on, right? That I'll share what I feel. That's all I can do. I'll never tell you. I'll share, right? I can't tell you what to do. That's arrogant. That's inappropriate. But I can share. I will share my perspectives, ideas, conceptions, and thoughts as much as you like. Yes, she'll share, as much as she feels is appropriate. But there's always more to share. So if you just say, like now, right? Biella's sharing here, and if Heila wants more, she can say, "Oh, will you elaborate on this? When you said it's a serious issue, what exactly is a serious issue?" Right? And then Biella will elaborate, right? Like I am doing now. Right? So she'll share as much as you'd like. This is what I live on. Again, Heila could say, "What do you mean exactly by that?" Yeah. And she'll say, "I live on sharing, communicating, and taking that sharing and applying it." Right? This is what I live on. This sharing, this interconnectedness is how we expand ourselves, how we get to more, how we get to understandings that we then go and apply. Also, the sharing is a practice of what I've already come to be aware of. It through the sharing, I'm applying my awareness. I'm applying my understanding. Yes, right, Beena? Very powerful.
Yes.
There's more. Yeah, this is Biella's thing that she always says, right? And then the aspirants made fun of this a little bit, or not made fun, but teased her. There's always more, right? But Biella's very honest when she says there's more, because to her there really is, right? And so they kind of tease her with that, and they made it into a beautiful, magical thing to say, "Yeah, there's always more." And whenever Biella says there's more, then they respond, "There's always more," like in a little chorus, singy songy way. Right? Biella made sure Heila understood, and Ursula applied to both of them. Even though she was speaking to Heila, Ursula was included. Biella's tone sober, focused. Not an offer lightly made. She'd taken the gesture of friendship from Heila in its extended spirit. And the offer is that she's there for her, right? So her ear is always open. This is not an offer lightly made. When I say to somebody, "I'm there for you," this is the earnestness, the sobriety, the honestness, and the integrity, right, of Biella and the new nobility. Means that they cannot say this and not mean it in the fullness of what's involved. Plus, they think things through. When I say I'm there for you, I understand what this means. I understand this means that you can essentially connect to me at any time and share your guts, and I'm going to listen. I'm going to set aside what I'm doing. Yeah, it's a big commitment, at least when I'm absolutely able to do it. I may have a prior commitment that I cannot get out of, and so, well, then you just have to wait. Yeah, but as much as I'm able, I will be there for you. Right? It's a very serious thing that you are saying. I will set aside my less than priority activities, and I'll put them aside, and I'll give you that time. Yeah. You become very close to a priority, top priority. Yeah. I mean, my livelihood obviously has to be number one priority. I can sometimes push it back a little bit, but I can't set it off forever. I have to do things for my livelihood. Right? All right. In Biella's case, he doesn't have a livelihood issue, but I'm talking, from me myself personally. When I say I'm there for somebody, it's within the context of have become a priority in my life, other than priorities that I cannot set aside. Right? Like things that I have promised to do, I'm committed to do, things that affect my livelihood or my health. Right? So. Yeah, like if I got a doctor's appointment, I'm there for you, but sorry, I have to go to the doctor's appointment. Yeah, just to be aware of the sophistication of this, right? It's it's sort of obvious, but at the same time, right? That 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 it needs to be a bit elaborated. But Biella's not elaborating here because it's not really necessary at this point in time. Biella shifted tone, moving from the promise she just made to an offer. So she's made a promise of being there for her. My ears open to you, I'm there for you. Right? To an offer. The more is an adventure if you're willing. Statement again. A statement of sharing, right? A statement of saying the obvious. The more, capital M more, is an adventure if you're willing. There should be a capital A adventure.
It
If
is.
you're willing. Yeah. I'd like to invite you to the adventure. At first, all is not entirely clear. I ask you to bear with me. Soon enough, the adventure will envelop you. Where's adventure? There we go. Soon enough, the adventure will envelop you. Of this I am sure. At that point, the decision to continue can be made with the pertinent information at hand. And this is a very, very crucial point that Biella is sharing. She is saying, you cannot get onto this path that we are on, right? And know what it is until you've actually participated in for a bit. Why? Because the moreness is outside of your current imagination and awareness. So you can't make a decision on what you don't know yet. So don't decide on whether you want to get onto this path of adventure until unless you've actually pursued it for a little bit. Then only can you really have an idea of what is involved, at least more or less, right? Enough to be able to make a decision. Right now, you don't have enough information to be able to decide whether or not you want to be on this path. And that's so very often the case. Yes. We think we know. We assume we know. We are certain we know when we don't. Right? So we do need to go and actually do things a bit, especially when it comes to things involving moreness. Right? Be aware that our current way of thinking, way of being, our current assumptions, our current psychologies, our current beliefs, our current awareness, our current imagination is not sometimes enough. Right? And I see this all the time. What I'm sharing is moreness topics, right? This is part of the moreness project. So I see this on a regular basis. I'm sharing moreness, but it just bypasses people sometimes, right? Because they are not in that space to really connect to it yet. Like we see with Heila, she's missing some stuff because she doesn't quite have the frame of reference, frame of perception, the vocabulary, the conceptuality, etc. Right? Very important. Very important that we actually make this effort to shift and pursue a path from the context of the path, right? Like Ursula is doing. Ursula is the prime example of the most appropriate way to do this. The problem is context. Biella took a long, deep, frank look at Heila. I think we're going to stop here, right? Because we're starting on a new point here now, right? So Biella is saying, wait a second, not all is adding up, and we'll get into this moreness tomorrow. Yeah. I love that you heard me there, Norma, just to come back when you said, wow, thank you. I needed to know that. That you're talking about is being there for you. You heard me, capital H, heard. You heard me. You heard the depth and the fullness of this. I am there for you, Norma. I am there for you, Beena. Beena, you know, I'm there for you as much as I'm able to be there for you. In the same way, Beena, you're not always available. You have family obligations and stuff that comes, and you can't always be here on Zoom or, connecting with me, right? But you're there for me as much as you are able, correct?
Yes.
With both of us, we are acutely aware that we are there for each other as much as is possible. That's a very key point, right? To not assume that you're just going to be there. I need you, be here. Sometimes I do need to talk to you, and then you're not available. Well, too bad. That's it. Too bad. Beena's got other priorities. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't upset me. I just say, well, okay, she can't be here now. I'll just wait. Yeah. And likewise, right, Beena? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, like I think something was up that was important, and I've been ill, and so I needed rest and sleep, and I said, yeah, but why didn't you call me? Well, no, you were sleeping, and I didn't want to wake you. Yeah. See. So priorities are very important to understand priorities. When we say we are there for somebody, yes, I mean, if the priority is, I mean, I've had times where people have come on and they're in crisis, and it is now, and I've really basically got to set everything aside because it needs to be dealt with like right now. That's rare, where something is so critical that it can't wait. Most of the time, when we need somebody to be there for us, it can wait an hour or two, a day, 2, 3 days, even a week or two. Yeah, it's not a
Yes.
life and death that it's now. Maybe that's what you meant with a life and death. Being there for somebody. Yes, if it's a life or death situation, truly, actually, that literal death is involved. Of course, then every priority goes out the window and it shifts right to the top. But mostly it's psychological issues, right? And they can wait. They can wait, right? They can wait a little bit. Within the context of a day, usually there's going to be some time in the day, or sometimes it moves to the next day, right? But when we're there for somebody, it means that we also understand the appropriateness of them being available. Yes, it's taken for granted. You know? But when Biella says this being available, she says, you are a higher priority to me than, my pleasures. For instance, like, hey, I want to watch TV, but you've got something you want to share. Oh, no, that's more important than me watching TV. Okay. Is it more important than me getting sleep? All right, I can go to bed later, I can put off, but there's a limit to how much I can restrict my sleep in order to pay attention to you, right? I can do it, for like one night and, and put it off, but I can't do it every day, right? So, see, it's all about appropriateness, in other words. So we have to understand this, that when I say I'm available for you, I have elevated you to a high priority. Yes, the highest, other than things that I cannot in the moment make less, right? So there's a lot of leeway there, and you are elevated, but not always. Very sophisticated understanding. Very cool. But yeah, it's a very big deal to be there for somebody. It's a big commitment. It's a massive, massive commitment, because you are saying, I am willing and I will set aside my typical things that are important to me. Whatever project I'm working on, let's say, for instance, writing my book. Yeah, that's important to me. Or continuing on the other books that this one is already written, but I've got a bunch of books that I want to finish writing. Yeah, that's important to me. But when it comes to hearing you, my friends, that can be put aside. Because if I publish in a year's time or in a year and a month's time, does it really make a matter? See? Yes, it's important to me, but I've got leeway with time to set it aside, right? To shift it back. So, sometimes some things get shifted back years because of other priorities. You never get to them. All right, so be it, That's somewhat happened with the books, to actually use this example, which is really why I chose the library background today, right? Isn't that an incredible library? I used this picture
Yes.
of my little fun story, where I talked about my church when I was a child. And I talk about going to church and the magic of church and the lessons, the sermons, and how these And if you don't know what I'm talking about at first, I think I'm talking about this very special church. And my church was very special because the only day that I didn't go to church was Sundays. Only day I didn't go to church, right? So I went to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? But not Sunday. It's like, oh, what kind of a church is this? And I chose my sermons. I took my sermons home with me. Wow, this is a really different church. But of course, my church was a library. Right? It's a very cool story. A very cool story. Yeah. A wonderful story. But anyway, it's really marvelous. This concept of a library as a church, right? And when you see the deepness of it, it's very profound. But anyway, I was making the story just in terms of me writing books and all that. It's come up, it's pertinent. But as much as this is important to me and is a priority, it's a lesser priority than me being there for my friends. Right? However, like I said, my health and my livelihood, well, that has to come first. Sorry. Yeah, because if I don't take care of those, then I won't be able to be there for you. See? So, greater context. When we say we are there, and appropriateness and awareness, always we have to keep greater context in mind. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. What a comment. Can you read Norma's comment there, please, Beena?
I'm not on Facebook, sir.
Oh. Norma says, my church is becoming messenger. Yes, Norma. What a profound comment. What a profoundly brilliant, genius, awesome, wonderful, beautiful comment. Yes, Norma. Yes. That is exactly so. That is exactly so. It is exactly so. Yeah. That why I love that comment too, because it means that what I was saying here, you heard me. Yeah. Because you were able to apply it to your life. Right? Application. See, you're applying what you just heard. This is how we learn. This is how we grow. This is how we extend ourselves. This is the path of moreness. Take what you hear and apply it. You just did that. It's paying attention. See, when we pay attention, there's so much moreness to be had. So much moreness to be had if we pay attention. Especially when people are sharing about moreness. Because what I said about the church, that's a moreness comment. It's a moreness sharing, not just a point of interest. It's about moreness, right? It's a deep point of moreness. You took that and you applied it, Norma. Absolutely brilliant and fantastic. Absolutely brilliant and fantastic. This is what we do. This is what the Moreness Project is all about. Way-of-Impeccability, all about. All about the path of moreness and having moreness in our lives. It's a fantastically, awesomely, wonderfully, brilliant and beautiful and delicious and joyful sharing and joyful way of living. Yes, and way of being. Right, Beena?
Yes.
Yeah. And we get to a point that we are more than happy.
Yes.
Yeah. We can share about that tomorrow. Maybe, depending on what's appropriate. All right. On that point, we'll end it because I'm also very hungry right now.
Okay. That's good.
Too
That's a good
brilliant.
point.
Unless you have some closing comments to make, Beena and Norma.
So I'm waiting for
Anything?
Norma to respond. I'm waiting for Norma to respond.
Okay. Well, you can say your closing comments in the meantime.
Okay. So for me, it is so much to think about, so much to pay attention to. It was a bit serious. Okay, always serious, but it's a most earnest session today. So I want to go back to that again, and I will.
Yeah. I was influenced by the earnestness of the Way-of-Impeccability participant, the niece. The niece was very earnest and shy as well, but this is profound to me, that you are overcoming your shyness, and they actually came on Zoom and shared. I want to know what you're about. this affects me so deeply. And I gave the fullness of the utmost that I could share, my attention and energy to that niece, because that's a precious thing, the earnestness to want to know more. Thank you. Oh, thank you. It has been like a light shining. Yes, you are a wonderful, wonderful light in my life. You really add much to my life, so much. It's a beautiful thing. It's a joy, a joy, a joy. Yes, like a light shining. Yeah, yeah. Very light sometimes too. Yes. Very light, very light. All right, Beena, we'll go over it all again. Yes, we'll do this tomorrow. We'll go over it all again. All right there, I'm going to end meeting, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. All right, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, wonderful Norma. Bye-bye. Thank you for sharing your heart.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your heart, capital H heart. It matters. It matters. It matters.
Bye for now. Bye for now, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much, Norma. And of course, for sharing. And thank you so much, Syl. Bye for now.
Yes. Hello, it's Beena saying, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes,
All right, bye-bye.
You need to eat.
End meeting. Yes. End meeting for all. Yeah, here we go.